ban list. No Jarvan for either Saint or ShorterAce.
ShorterAce actually had a pretty good showing at the expansion tournament.
It was impressive.
Although his team was unable to qualify. Knocked out of that tournament, unfortunately. Looks like with the Z ban at least, that is very heavily targeted at Pobelter. So in the offseason, this is why it's really unfortunate that Winterfox is playing with these subs. It is too bad that they have the subs because they did a boot camp in Korea. The team was all ready to go. Pobelter and Altec had that entire offseason of hype, basically, because Pobelter was destroying solo queue.
Korea, just all
everywhere.
these videos on Reddit. That was ridiculous.
And we'll see if Pobelter and Altec's synergy alone can carry him through. Sivir first pick, though, for Altec. That's pretty huge.
High priority coming in on that one. Release in for Saintvicious. He has definitely worked on that champion over the years. And can lay down some pretty good sonic waves connecting it. Hauntzer is going to take Janna for Bunny FuFuu, so not so many plays to be made there, but you can still make it happen for your AD carry.
It's probably his second best support, at least. It's one of the big things he did while he was outside of the LCS is like, well, my Thresh is obviously LCS quality. Time to work on other supports.
That's what you need to do.
And his Janna is very good. Wow. So Rengar Annie.
That's a lot of power coming out of that team. Anybody that gets caught, you are pretty much nullified instantly. Wait a minute. They want it. Oh, look at this. Look at the smile coming out of the coach here.
Yeah. Soldra, the coach for Gravity right now.
Yep. They're enjoying it. It's good that they can have fun in Champion Select. That they can just know that they can already put smiles on their face and a schoolyard lock it in here.
New team, old tricks.
Yep.
Hovering troll picks that they won't end up going with.
Hey, your first time on stage, you got to do a hover. You got to please the crowd. It will be an Azir for Keane, though. Cop's going to take Corki. He's played that since the day of his inception into League of Legends, so he'll be fine on that. Just farm out the game and get himself to his late game phase. We'll see how these guys do, though. Keane, a lot of people say he's strong. Talking to Saint during the expansion tournament, I was like, who's this Hauntzer guy? He says he's the real deal. In the top lane, he can put up plays. He's not afraid to make it happen, and they're leaving last pick for top. It's the first time we've really seen this happen.
It is really interesting that they have Azir. It could be Azir top. Technically, Azir's a flex pick.
That's true. Good call.
Overpow played Azir top in the European LCS yesterday. So definitely the potential of flexing, which will make this pick a little bit more difficult for Winterfox.
Ooh, guitar there, talking to Pobelter. They're saying, yeah, Fizz, Renekton. And we've seen a little bit more Renekton. Slightly
buffed Renekton. He had a large number of his abilities tweaked in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
But basically, it's Pobelter's Fizz here. Will he be able to hyper carry off the back of that 7
speed? Awesome! All right, Hauntzer. He's going to be putting up some power here. I love Sion. Kind of like a Gnar. You can just sit there and build a bunch of defense and be a menace the entire game. We'll see if Flaresz can stop him. And great compositions coming out for both sides. I think they round out nicely.
And Gravity was actually put fairly highly in some of the community power rankings that were out there preseason in North America. Some teams, I think Goal Per 10's power rankings had them as high as number 4 in the entire LCS. And with Winterfox playing with 3 subs and a pretty solid lineup coming out for Gravity, they should be in a position to do quite well. It's all going to be about whether they can shut down Pobelter's Fizz and Altec Sivir, really, because those are the only two core members on Winterfox right now. Tons of preseason hype. I'm sure tons of people have Altec on their fantasy team. Early picks on AD carries because his numbers last year on a losing team were incredible.
We heard a lot about Altec from Crepo, as he would call him, Johnny, playing with him, saying if there's a kind of thing there where he's still himself and he doesn't take to the team. Maybe he's starting to take the team, and that's when a player really grows and you can see all of their full potential. The game's about to go live, so let's get those predictions rolling in. Tweet hashtag WFXWin or hashtag GVWin to @LOL Esports, and we'll be tallying your votes throughout the game to see who's going to take game number 3 of the North American LCS Spring Split here. Starting off this season, we've already seen some great plays today, and we're only going to see more.
Yeah, just to recap the day, Team Solo Mid taking down Cloud9 in a really well-fought game, honestly. Cloud9 with an early advantage.
Right.
TSM closing in behind them. And then the Dignitas versus Coast game.
Oh.
That ending. If you have not seen that and you're just tuning in now, go check out the ending.
Worth a 30-second
There's
watch.
a Baron, it's a Dignitas game, and the game ends shortly after.
Wow, that actually leaves a lot up in the air. That's a choose your own adventure if I ever heard one. So, not really worried about the wards because of their power in numbers. Thanks for making me a liar, Saint. I called you good on your cues. It's like he'll miss the first one. It's not
Scouting Q.
Too many problems. It's a little bit of an invade here. Not invade, but roam in by Annie. And Sivir.
I remember.
By Altec.
Oh, wow.
That happened.
ShorterAce able to kill the ward. Now, keep in mind, on this patch, wards are not stealthing as quickly as they should.
You don't say.
So it is a little bit easier to kill them. That's another thing that will be fixed next patch.
You're trying to take the credit.
All the players know that is the situation right now.
Yep.
And honestly, with the way he used his Q, he would have killed the ward even without the bug.
Right.
But
Minions
he did it. Good job.
There's a few champions that can do that early game. Get yourself a Leona or something, and you're right as rain if somebody puts a ward in your face. So we'll get a little bit of help here to ShorterAce. He starts on the Krug's bottom lane. Gromstar help going over to Saintvicious.
An invade early, actually. And not a necessarily good scout. It looks like they're going to do some vertical jungling here, though, just because of the lane swap. So if Saintvicious were to go for his own blue buff right now, it would be way too dangerous. The question will be how much of this jungle do they decide to take?
Let's see where Flaresz goes after this. They obviously realized that the 2v1 happened before they had a chance to see it, or rather beforehand at all. That could hurt.
No, this is really curious. What is Flaresz doing? Because normally, as a top laner in a lane swap, you are either double jungling or staying in the lane.
Well, that's Annie and Rengar right now, which is weird.
Yeah, he's doing neither. And yeah, this is...
And he's going to try to do Raptors first.
Strange.
That'll be painful.
So I've actually seen a few variations of this. I was watching the Chinese LPL, and OMG started the game triple jungling, actually. They used a jungler, top laner, and a support to power through the jungle. Because if both teams are lane swapping, and there's no dives because the other team is respecting it too much, there's no need to have multiple people in that bottom lane, and you can instead use your team to help gank and go.
Oh, Keane, there's the stun, the roam, too close to the turret, but they did force that flash. That gives Pobelter and Gleeb, the rest of the team, a chance to come back.
And Gleeb had actually charged his stun in the jungle while he was helping that out. Didn't need to start with his W, then had a point-and-click stun onto Keane, making it easier for him to burn that flash. But yeah, this is a very low-investment jungle. It did look like Flaresz decided to do Raptor Camp with his Q on Renekton's. A very dynamic opening here. Teams look like it looks like they're freestyling since they have 3 subs, but I wonder if that was part of the plan.
Putting that first 100+ gold into pink ward vision as well. So kind of just offering safety to the rest of the jungle here as they need to recoup a little bit from what's happening. It's not like Hauntzer is getting too much on that Sion right now, so he's not that far behind. They're both level 2 at this point. Free farm for Cop in the top lane. We've always seen him have a consistent CS. We heard Saint talking about him. He won't be making the plays, but he delivers. He'll give you what you need.
And I would definitely say solo lane Corki, being able to get a level advantage, is very important. And Flaresz, even though he is on Renekton, who is a typical solo laner, because of the early disadvantage he was put into and having to go do Raptors and then make it to lane, I don't think he's going to be able to keep up in CS with Cop. 1v1.
I gotta say, I feel like Cop would be a little more aggressive already. Almost every auto attack between not farming a minion should be going on to Flaresz right now. He can give him so much harass and easily get the safety. But that's Cop. Cop plays down.
He also has no ward control, which is the other thing. Knowing that Annie is somewhere.
The wave did just come out.
And oftentimes in lane swap situations like this, the support will go and aid what is supposed to be the top laner, which is what we're seeing with the Janna Sion lane there. He kind of knows Annie's on her way. He's got to be a little bit careful.
Well, playing that one safe, as he should.
Saint's trying to get that free gold.
ShorterAce coming down. He'll be seen by the pink ward. Looks like that's the ping in from Saint right there.
Oh, he snuck behind it. No flash on Keane.
This is the counter to the counter. He uses the shifting sands to get forward. Will it help? This isn't something Saint can really get himself into. He's going to try, and he puts down a
bit of
damage. It can't be ShorterAce. They pile onto him, hip to hip. Can't connect it. Bunny FuFuu now coming in with the Howling Gale. Only out of lane on this one, and they're not going to be able to provide too much. Winterfox positioning nicely and able to engage every new challenger.
Hey, the team with 3 subs is the ones who draw first blood. Some great roam there by Gleeb, edging his way around the ward, knowing that he doesn't really need to help Sivir down in the bottom lane, letting Flaresz fend for himself, and really just trying to get Pobelter going on Fizz.
Somewhat of an upper hand. You can use your advantage in that one. You've been scrimming against the entire team of 5. You don't know what these new guys are going to do. They don't have any kind of things they stick to or something you're sure of. So coming out with a very early roam in the beginning takes Gravity off guard. That's going to be first blood. Nothing huge. It does go to Pobelter, and he looks for damage on that. The Sheen coming out. So he could actually try to make some plays.
Full ferocity.
This is the wards that you were talking about. It's going to be the lockdown. No, Flaresz turns around. He doesn't have enough. Where's the attack? Cuts him down right out of the air. Saintvicious could easily capitalize on this. Hauntzer comes in.
Man.
That's going to be a few if they can get it. Wait, no! Flaresz gets away! What a beautiful slice and dice. Saintvicious was rearing back to punch him and didn't connect with the auto attack.
And then ShorterAce gets 5 ferocity and is able to heal on the backside of that one. They get out by the hair of their chinny chin chin. Or the skin of their teeth, whichever one you want to say. But it was ridiculously close. These are the kind of games that completely go the way of the other team when you're so close to getting kills and almost escaping kills, but it just continually goes the other way. That's happened with these first 2 kills and no counter by Gravity.
That's the scary part, because it's always just the, I want that last step, and that's going to cost you your life. Pobelter going in, Emperor's Divide. Just stop short.
Not the best time for a pause, but we'll get the reason for that as shortly as possible, as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, early on in the game, Winterfox really coming out huge. Obviously, the lane swap is not going entirely their way, as you can see by the CS.
They made things work, though.
But Sivir having 62, Sion having 36, you know, you add up top laner and AD carry and just compare them against the other teams, they would actually be winning that overall. Cop hasn't been doing a great job CSing 1v1 against Renekton, and Gleeb has been doing a very good job roaming around on an under-leveled Annie. I mean, he's only level 3, but he created that pressure in the mid lane, burning Keane's flash, and then getting the kill the second time that could maybe let Pobelter just skyrocket through this game.
If we look at the things that they have done, those are things you can do all the time. So it's like they already had it in the book. If you walk into lane with Annie stun and there's another person with you, you're probably going to blow that flash in mid and you can return. It's almost a guaranteed every time you approach mid, as long as you have the vision to not get countered. So Winterfox is kind of sticking to the book and everything's working textbook style. Really great for him.
Yeah, it was a keyboard issue with Gleeb, which is why we're paused.
Okay.
Hopefully it's one of those times where you can just unplug it and plug it back in.
But then you have to turn it over because the USB won't fit. And then you turn it over again, and then it won't fit. So you get it 2 more times, and you get it. We'll be back into this one shortly.
That is how USBs work.
That is how USBs work.
Yeah.
There are 4 different ways you can put it in. So we see that back, obviously, from Flaresz. He's not too rich yet. Goes for another Doran's Blade and a little bit of damage in the longsword as well. So he's trying to keep himself at least maintained in that lane. And he's only 10 CS, or rather 7 CS down, so not too shabby there.
I want to see how that Renekton impacts the game later, because it looks like it's going to be very hard for him to get in there in team fights. And Azir pushing back, Sion stuns, Corki, Janna, everything is just kind of pushing against him. I think a lot of it's just going to be about him taking up space and split pushing on Renekton. I think that's his sole job, because the rest of the team will be this assassination squad.
Right, in and out. No reason to stay long. Use Dominus. Use Dominus to get yourself out of sticky situations in the top. We'll see if it plays out like that. As you can see, it is the pause from Winterfox, as we said, getting Gleeb's keyboard all suited up. And it looks like we may be ready to get back into game shortly. We do know that Gravity has been pretty much getting in their own head a little bit. The kills not going their way, but they're stretching themselves thin to try and achieve these. With the pause we just had that will be resuming, Again, they were trying to go on to Keane in mid, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, and it's going to be action as soon as we come back out of this pause because Pobelter had just ulted Keane, but the Emperor's Divide was disengaging him.
Yep.
And that's it. They decide not to fight.
And it disengaged. So, settling down now. All the players getting back into the roll of things. See a little bit of back and forth here in the top. Level 5s for both. Trying to see where they are at level 6. And it looks like they're halfway there on both sides. Teleports have been used, so they'll probably be returning to top lane for the next few minutes here. It's going to be all about what the lanes can do. We saw ShorterAce trying to provide and has 3-6 Rengar ganks. 1-0-1 for him. Still waiting for Saint to get there in time. He's kind of been a little short on each of these engagements.
One step slow.
Right.
Winterfox.
There you
Fair
go.
bit of fan support early on in this game. The sub-squad. Can a sub-squad win in the LCS? CLG tried a few times last year.
That's true.
To no avail. Had a few close games.
When they sub one person, they seem to do well. When they sub a whole team, that's a different story.
I wonder, though. Gleeb's still level 3, and it's the last straggler. Oh!
Just because everybody else walked through it doesn't mean the last person's safe. Something to remember. Uh-oh, Altec getting caught out here. He thought the team actually had control, but they just left River. He's going very low. The Ignite is down. That's the last hit. That's going over to Cop. Who says he's not aggressive?
Straight up right there. Altec did not have vision control, and he was up past the point that he would be safe. Cop and Bunny FuFuu do a good job of just capitalizing with the move speed from Janna and getting a kill. They do end up burning Flash and Ignite to get that, but they burned Altec summoners as well, and it gives Cop some time to catch up in CS.
Gleeb making sure he's safe down here, trying to charge that stun up so he doesn't get dove. Nice hits from Cop coming in as well. Does his phage so he can get himself out off those shots and the movement speed safely. He needs to. Everybody's just, or everything I should say, really going the way of Winterfox right now. They did just lose one, but that's not going to be too bad. Altec 73-69 was up in CS, so that was Gravity trying to get back into this one, and they did.
When this game approaches the team fight phase, it's going to be very critical that Pobelter can get himself involved because the overall team might not have the most damage. Here we go, though. Saintvicious level 6, trying to gank Flaresz.
Oh, there's the ultimate. The gong is off. Hauntzer not going to be able to swing that one around, and he had actually just used Roar of the Slayer, that minion push, as Saint came into lane, so they actually didn't have any real big follow-up on that.
Saint couldn't quite get the kickoff before Flaresz was able to dash over top of him. So again, just a hair slow.
Ooh. Looks like Pobelter wants a refresh on that blue buff, but he's not going to get it. No attack possibility here. He's forced to stay back, though. You can see just how annoying it is to try and farm against an Azir. Nicely done. Really dodging out all the attacks that could have hit him. Takes a while to figure out the placement, the soldiers. Does a little bit of through-line AoE damage, so you can't stand too close. But Pobelter's got it on lockdown.
Well, with how much that guy plays.
Oh, my gosh.
He's probably played against many Azirs in the top echelons of North American solo queue, or even Korean solo queue, for that matter. Definitely seems like he's very well versed at dodging here, and a big-time gank coming in. Get out of there, Keane.
Whoa, that's the divide. Chum the Waters hits it, though. Look at that. They just circumvent the wall and walk out.
The mid lane camp is very real, and Gravity's going to have to find a way to respond to this if they want to win this game, because everyone is just piling on Keane. Not much more Keane can do about that unless they get some vision control or some backup, if they're willing to burn that many ultimates and flashes and summoner spells just to secure a second kill on Azir. Nice kill, though, by Winterfox, collapsing onto Keane. Nothing he could have done. It's
something you don't think you'd be seeing with Azir having that much stability and controlling the area around him. But they're just walking right around it. It only hits one person. They figured it out. So I don't think Keane's very safe in that mid lane. May need a little more help from Saint, who's also not getting the game he wants, at least compared to what ShorterAce has had so far. 1-0-2, boots and mobility, so he's creating more options and more lanes. And Saint's kind of still sitting on recipes right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. ShorterAce completing his boots and mobility before even upgrading to his warrior enchantment. Because really, it is about getting Pobelter fed. It's Operation Camp Keane is what this game is turning into.
Funny FuFuu, a little bit of aggression. Doesn't get the spell shield out of that one, but they do on the rocket.
There's a butt in there.
Get out of that one quite easy. Saint just knowing where you can put the pressure here, and they may be able to act on something in this bottom lane. I know they're going to at least try to clear a ward, but they don't have the control to even do that just now. Maybe get it a little bit later. ShorterAce again towards the mid lane. Bringing the hot dogs this time, setting up the camp. There it is, chum the waters, nom nom. That's another one for Pobelter. Rinse and repeat.
There's smiles going on all across Winterfox's faces right now. That gank was just too easy for ShorterAce. Keane walks in range of a brush, doesn't even have to burn his flash in order to get that empowered bullet right on top of Keane. Easy kill.
Whoa. Wow, drawing the teleport. Okay, they got Bunny FuFuu. I don't think he'll be too alive for much longer in this. Cop, wait a minute. They could pull this fight around. The shield will come out. Hauntzer comes in with low mana. He's pretty much right now. Not being able to provide too much other than a body, and they still turned it around here with Saint, though. One last hit. Oh my gosh, they're picking up kills here with slivers of health, and Pobelter's about to have a heyday as he starts picking up a few. That's going to be Hauntzer going down after the passive knocks out. And beautiful job by Winterfox to just close in on the bottom lane and stop that aggression.
It ends up being a 2-for-1 right there. Sivir ulting in order to get Gleeb in range for the ultimate, gives them the proper start to that fight, and then they teleport in first. Even though Hauntzer was there, it wasn't enough. I mean, look at this. Not even Sivir ult to get in range. Bunny FuFuu just lost his mind. There's no reason to walk that close to Gleeb and Altec. Burns his ultimate just to try and stay alive, has to get out of there. Flaresz gets in the instant before Hauntzer and closes the kill. And at this point, Saintvicious is just trying to make a play when a play's not completely there. Yeah. I'm sure they're saying Hauntzer's got all, everything looked great up until this point, but they couldn't get the finish, and nobody was accounting for Pobelter. Keane had no presence in that mid lane, and Pobelter could just come straight down once again and pick up even more kills.
7-2 now as we approach just 14 minutes in this game.
Yeah, you can see the pause screen popped up right during that replay. Unfortunately, there's been some technical difficulties today, but it's day one of the North American LCS. Once again, we'll keep you completely up to date. It does look like Gleeb's keyboard issues persist.
The Gleeboard.
Gleeboard.
The Gleeboard problem. We'll see if he can get that fixed up.
Jeez.
See ShorterAce waving to the crowd. He is having so much fun up there. Just on the cross shot, he was like, hey, what's going on, guys? I am crushing faces right now, and it feels good. There he is, the one kid of Washington.
It's got to feel good. 4,000 gold there on Rengar, but it's all about Pobelter. 4,800 gold on Fizz. 302, 1,300 ahead of Keane's Azir. Just really looking to run over this game.
It's definitely a different dynamic. We heard Hauntzer in the pregame video saying, you know, there's nobody really on Curse that will feed the kills to, or one person that'll get everything. Not the case with Winterfox. That's Pobelter. He holds that role. And right now at 302, 15 so CS up above his opponent 13. It's pretty, he's going to make some plays this game. I think we can see that out of him. More Reddit clips to come.
We'll have to see how effective he can be. I mean, we saw High's Fizz get shut down by Darius' Aurelia.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there someone who can block Pobelter and just stand next to him in fights? You would hope that could be Hauntzer, but honestly, I feel like Fizz is far too mobile for Sion's incredibly dodgeable abilities. Gravity tried to get Dragon, but Winterfox is there to contest. 5v5 at Dragon Pit.
It's like standing in front of a train and you move
Dragon reset.
Second. Dragon's back out. Actually hitting Gleeb right now. That's 2 down, 1 for each side respectively. Divide goes out. They're trying to take down Cop. Altec with the boomerang coming off a cooldown. Will he be able to throw the last one? Storm Shield to save Cop, and it looks like they may retaliate just a little bit. Pobelter on this side here is making that change, though. It doesn't look like Gravity really wants to get themselves back into this tussle. A back and a forth. The Dragon stays alive throughout that one as one goes down for both Winterfox and Gravity.
Poor junglers. The Dragon reset as they both went in to try and smite it. So it was no longer in kill range. Then the fight erupted, but both junglers had put themselves in such compromising positions that they died in the fight. So tricky stuff, but still Winterfox with a big lead.
Let's see how they apply it. Something we noticed, you know, throughout any season or the beginning of a season is teams have a bit of trouble closing out a game. Dragons kind of stop that. Allows people that power they need to really just get through after the first inhibitor, but we'll see if these newer teams can hold that and get it down.
I want to see how Pobelter can carry this game, or if he can, because Pobelter has always been a top solo queue player. Ever since he was 15 years old, he was kind of just everyone was waiting for him to join the LCS. He was actually on...
Felt like he was 15 forever.
He was actually on Curse Ball teams while he was 15. And then eventually he made it into the LCS, and it didn't transfer over immediately. He was in the LCS while still finishing high school. He couldn't devote all of his time to the game. I mean, it's been years in the making, the development of this guy. It's a little bit comparable to Reckless in EU when he was too young to play the LCS, but everyone knew he was really good. It's just Pobelter was never quite the same name, but he's always had that talent. It's just a matter if he can realize that, play as a team, and show up on the big stage. This could be his year, honestly. He had a strong finish to last year. The team is more built around him now.
Right, there's nobody to overshadow that.
And he's doing this with subs right now. I mean, this isn't even the team that was built around him. So it's looking like a very strong opening for Pobelter. We'll see if he can close out this game with his immense lead.
A lot of plays being made by this team, Pobelter especially, and with the option of Altec to kind of be that same person as well. His skills are on the up and up. And they have the ability to have two players with that ability. Gleeb, he's trying to get an upper hand on the ward control, see if he can kill anybody trying to plant one, but they don't. He like hides under that ward. You almost can't even see him at all. Only the nameplate. Good clear coming in from Keane. Almost called him shifter for a second. 17 minutes on the clock. Both teams respecting now that the ults are around and on everybody. A lot of champions hitting level 11 as well, so that's something they're trying to get under their belt. And we see once more towards the mid lane. That's the Monsoon. They don't use the divide. I was going to say, if they get through both of those disengages and still get a kill, but they get out safely this time.
That's really huge. That's what Gravity needs to do to stop those dives. You can see how hard it is, but they repel it that time.
Flashes.
That's true.
Tough to get out. Oh,
pop the ultimates from Winterfox though before that dragon. And in the long term, you'd rather have your ultimate because it comes back before flash, but in the short term, the ultimates would win or lose this fight. So Gravity should pile onto the dragon here, knowing there's ults down from Winterfox.
Oh. They get a little bit of a tunnel here. Gleeb went way too far. The rest of the team, what? Altec coming out huge on this one as well as Gleeb. They focus down onto two. Saint and Bunny FuFuu no longer for this world. That's a double kill coming in for Altec. Beautiful job as they drop three. Hauntzer is going to be bolting out of this one with a short sprint. Almost a kill onto Cop as Pobelter is trying to make more plays. And Winterfox is all over these engagements immediately. Great teleport.
Geez, Saintvicious thought he had the upper hand there, and if they would have engaged in a clean fashion, I think they would have, but he doesn't even get his Lee Sin kickoff in that fight. I think Gleeb was able to stun him, and then the rest of Winterfox was able to just focus him down before he makes a play. This game is getting out of control. Winterfox is pulling away.
Winterfox is definitely pulling away. Odd to hear when a lot of the people said Gravity is one of the better teams coming in. Let's check this again.
Yeah, I mean, what a strange fight where Gleeb thinks he has a catch on to Cop, and then they're kind of running away. Sivir has an immense amount of burst and is able to get him with the backside of that boomerang, as it was actually ShorterAce who held him in place. And it looked like an Infinity Edge crit that came through from Altec, bursted down for a fair bit of damage, and at that point, Gravity didn't collapse at the right point. They were already down a person. Even though the ultimates weren't there, it was fine. And Pobelter nearly finishing off Cop on the backside.
That was sneaky. He got like a fadeaway run to get himself to safety. 45 seconds before the Baron is on the map. I don't really think anybody's going to be looking towards that just yet, however. You see Pobelter sticking the needlessly large rod into his inventory. Saint forced the flash out of that. A huge front-end burst hit. Nice slam down by Hauntzer. They can really turn this one around. And as Winterfox enters the jungle all willy-nilly, they're going to definitely pay for this Raptor attack to go down.
Gravity finally sets up a trap right there. That's what they need to do. They punish this time ShorterAce and Gleeb for overdiving, and Pobelter was not there to supplement the gank. Really showed they didn't have the damage outside of the big fish they got in the mid lane.
A little bit of disrespect being given there, saying we're strong, we can walk anywhere. Not the case. Gravity can still take your team out. 20 minutes in, and we see a little bit of life there from Gravity on the attack to save their jungle. Looking at the lanes, actually pretty all even. Saintvicious, however, we saw him farming up a lot. It is 69 to 48 as he was trying to repair what ShorterAce had done to his team in the early game. Mostly Keane. Keane had a hard time.
Yeah, and there's actually a huge amount of gold in the jungle now. The jungler is willing to go and farm it. With the recent buff to the jungler items that happened in the 5.1 patch that we're playing on right now. An extra 30 gold every time he kills that jungle monster. If you just sit there and farm in the jungle, you become a very, very rich man. And despite Saint's 3 deaths, he is ahead of ShorterAce in gold just because of that CS discrepancy by a whole 300.
Level as well, so we'll be hitting 11. And that Dragon's Rage kick up leveled once more. And just some wave control coming in here for Gravity, as nobody's really making a move just yet. Cleaning up red buffs, cleaning up blue buffs. It could be Flaresz, however, in the top lane. Oh, so close. No cigar. Ooh, BN.
Oh, geez. To be fair, Sion rarely hits people. He's taunting them, though. These Winterfox guys are just trying to get in the heads of Gravity. They know they're playing with subs. So
yeah,
they can do no wrong, in a sense. If they win, whatever. No one expected them to win. If they lose, everyone expected that because they have 3 subs. So
it puts mind games.
It puts an added sense of pressure on Gravity. And what way to try and push them over the edge than just laughing in their face?
It's like what Unicorns of Love says. Why'd you name yourself that? Because it'd be funny if you had to go tell your friends you got beat by Unicorns of Love. There you go. That would suck. It looks like some teams had to do that this weekend. Left to 6 here in this one. 22 minutes on the clock. Gold lead, obviously, in favor of Winterfox, along with all of the turrets this game. Not even able to crack a base yet. The base, I should say, for Gravity. They've been kept to their side of the map. Good clearing. Seems legit.
Yeah. That long range ward clear. Good. Surprised they've lost 2 pink wards to that brush, considering Azir can so easily clear them.
Yeah.
I would rather sweep that brush against Azir and place your pink ward further away. But they really need that pink ward, that brush cleared, because that's their gank path for Rengar. It's a very contentious spot.
What a back and forth fight. Put some batteries in these guys' gloves, do a little more damage. 13 to 12. Oh, wait. Here we go. Bunny FuFuu. Nope.
Janna's shield, also known as the battery, to help you do more damage.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you can see that brush that Keane continually clears pink wards out of is the spot that both teams need to control. If Winterfox controls it, they can get clean ganks off in the mid lane. If Gravity controls it, they just simply can't.
As soon as they see him, this could easily... I guess they won't dive. He has dominance, so it's really hard to kill him. Minute on Dragon. A lot's being focused here towards the top lane. Looks like they're going to back. They realize that, and they want to get themselves prepared as well. Hauntzer's going to start walking down. Get a ward down. He may even walk down to Dragon. He'll keep teleport up. We'll see Flaresz stay as well. So nobody really getting a kill out of this for the last 5 or so minutes. It's been pretty much a stalemate. I think it's all about the Dragons.
I wonder if Gravity's going to even be able to contest these Dragons. They have relatively limited vision control in that pit, and they must know how far behind they are. Sivir and Fizz are both getting very strong.
No.
It's actually, Altec's build is rather greedy, but he's going to be very rich for it. Normally when you build the Avarice Blade, you do Static Shiv.
Right.
But he's just sat on the Avarice Blade the entire time he's been farming. It's actually accrued an extra 423 gold for him already. And I doubt the Static Shiv's going to be his next item. I feel like Last Whisper or Bloodthirster will be his next item, and then maybe a Static Shiv. He's just going to be sitting on that Avarice Blade for a super long time. It gave almost no combat effectiveness, but eventually it's going to pay for itself.
428 gold off of that already. No contest. Dragon number 2 going over. Very nicely done. Oh dear. Sundisk goes down to the turret. Gleeb tries to flash in with the Tibbers ultimate, finally gets it down there, and it is just such a back and forth ping pong fight. This is the members of Gravity going down, however, and we see Hauntzer now in the middle of the fight trying to take down ShorterAce. He's done such a great job at just taking control of people's vision, while Pobelter and the rest of the team wipe them off of the map.
Oh geez, a 4-for-1 in what was a very chaotic, almost YOLO fight by Winterfox. It looked like they just said, all right, let's fight. Everybody do something. It wasn't even super coordinated, but they ended up killing 4 people on Gravity. Pobelter was getting bounced around by the Azir ultimate the whole time, and it just simply didn't matter. Winterfox is that far ahead.
Lich Bane's going to help crush this one down quite nicely. Altec gets out safely as well, so they drop another turret on the game. Gravity has only dropped the mid turret, which helps open up the map. So we look at this one more time.
I mean, it's the Sivir ult with the Rengar ultimate. They don't even synchronize their initiation, but the Tibbers is good. It sits in there for a little while. Hauntzer kind of zones out, and watch Pobelter here. He just gets, I think it's Janna ulted out. I thought it was the Emperor's Divide that messed him up. He didn't have a huge impact on that fight, but because Altec was also fed, because Renekton is getting quite strong, everyone is just utilizing their lead and punishing the passive behind team of Gravity. The whole fact that Altec has been allowed to buy that Avarice Blade, sit on it, and not get punished really speaks to a lack of map pressure by the rest of the Gravity team. And it's really meaning a big, big edge for Winterfox.
Well, we see fights all the time, but we rarely see a team fight like that, wanting to just barrel head first into it. There's always some back and forth, some dancing, and then the fight goes down after you place 3 or 4 wards and try to take it out. Winterfox, not a care in the world here as they do their engagements. Ready to lose one, but take your entire team. And it seems to be the goal since the beginning of this one.
Yeah, and for those of you that have been watching since the start of the day, this is kind of the pylon Sivir composition that Cloud9 wanted to have at the start of the day. When you can just pop the Sivir ult and have everybody go and get to the target you want to, is ideal. That it's such an important thing. They were able to get the mid lane ganks onto Keane that really started this whole thing rolling, because that then gives them river control if the mid laner can never get, the enemy mid laner can never get past his turret. And the move speed you get from Rengar plus Sivir and then the lockdown from Annie makes even a properly positioned opponent look out of position, because you're just so much faster and you can catch them in spots.
We saw a bit of it coming from Coast as well. They had the Rengar, they had the Leona, and they would blast it as soon as they went in. Just get those one engages. Winterfox working it the same and working it very well. You got it. Gravity has to be like they're in every brush. That's what you consider right now. Any brush that's not warded, they are standing in it. Very, very careful play has to come from them.
Gravity's doing their best. The only way you can get control back here is to pink ward your own jungle, which they are trying to do.
It's
but
close,
they just can't get enough pink wards out. That's one good ward. They saw him pop. Really?
Wait a minute. No.
Okay. ShorterAce is like, all right, guys, sorry. I shouldn't have done that. That was a waste.
They're having fun, though. That's the part that counts. Able to keep their heads in the game, making sure they win while doing it with a smile. Just slow push in mid lane here. Altec to clear this out. Flaresz now to the bottom lane. You see this back and forth once again. Probably not going to do too much to each other. Nice slice and dice. Even smash, keeping himself safe here. Top of the map looks like it's going to be getting a little bit of help from the team. Gravity clearing waves out right now, but they're going to have to find a mistake fight coming in from Winterfox if they really want to get themselves back in this game. At 7,000 gold, that means there's more than one core item probably across the map in different lanes that's really putting you on the back foot. The map control that Winterfox has in 5-to-1 turrets, definitely leaving Gravity a little bit to be desired here.
We definitely have to note again, hopefully for the last patch, that with the Azir in the game, the turret count is inaccurate. It's 3 turrets down.
Oh, you're right, yep.
For Gravity. So Winterfox has the outer 3 down as well as a substantial amount of map control. But yeah, I do want to talk about the Avarice Blade on Altec. Probably after they all run and try and kill someone shortly. So they're trying to do. You should not be allowed to build an Avarice Blade. This is one of those things like, do not try this at home. Don't build an Avarice Blade and sit on it, because it typically makes you incredibly weak as an AD carry. But he's been able to outfarm by such a wide margin that he has a full item advantage on Cop and an Avarice Blade to sit on, which is, by the way, giving him an extra 626.
I think it was Uzi that did that at Worlds, and he just got punished in lane. He just tried to sit on it, and they took it to him. They know you can do that. Like you said, playing it safe. Playing it smart. With the positioning on the team, everybody in front of him, he's been able to do this. Hit the lanes, farm it up. Now he's up to 643 gold off that Avarice Blade plus. 25 seconds on Dragon. Their turret, most likely their Dragon once again uncontested here as we see Gravity trying to clear and get the wave push towards the top lane. They'll take this turret. Like we said, third Dragon now going over to Winterfox.
I think the only hope Gravity has here is that Keane can get to a powerful enough point that they can punish the heavy dive of Winterfox and can somehow stay alive. He's going to have to build his Zhonya's Hourglass out of that needlessly large rod. Because I've seen many games where an Azir that is really far behind can just crush a team fight if he gets his soldiers in the right position and he cuts the enemy off the right way. But it's going to be real tough against this Winterfox team.
Easy to say, put on paper, hard to do. Very hard to do, especially with the way this team is going to be moving. They have that Sivir ult, Playful Trickster, ShorterAce, jumping around or being invisible. A tough task here for Gravity, but a task that can definitely be completed only 31 minutes into the game. They need to stop these dragons. One dragon would help them out immensely, at least at this point. But 3 on the favor of Winterfox only makes it harder to get that first dragon for themselves. Gravity's going to back. Looks like things are slow for them right now, but they feel they are safe enough with the control they have to do this backer.
Definitely showing their subs right now for Winterfox. I think a more coordinated team with this type of gold lead, dragon lead, and diving composition would be able to manufacture advantages a little bit more quickly. But at the same time, because of the Avarice Blade on Altec and because they have the Fizz there, it's not the worst thing they're taking this long to kind of set up their plays. A Yuma. So he doesn't go Static Shiv. He goes with the Ghost Blade on Sivir. That's actually something that a lot of people have been doing on their second item, just for more move speed on Sivir. Since you're already mobile, you're just supplementing your own strength. Personally like it. Plus it gives you that
pen on the boomerang.
Temporary power as well. 20% more move speed, 40% more attack speed for 6 seconds. Never hurts.
No.
But now he can't get that extra gold. And he has such a small amount of lifesteal in this build. Bloodthirster will have to be his
Are you
last
saying
guy.
that wasn't a financially stable decision?
It's pretty stable.
Oh,
there's the speed.
That's financially stable because that banks some gold. Going over to Pobelter, also going over to Altec. These guys are cashing in right now, and now they're on to Hauntzer. Saint tries to get into this fight. Cop gets cuffed himself, but he's able to jump out of this one. It looks like another turret in for Winterfox. They're going to be tearing down to the inhibitors, looking right into the eyes of Gravity as they turn their base to shambles, and they're not even worried about the outside damage on this one. ShorterAce completely tanking the turret. Guys, that shreds some of your resistances. You got to be careful. They finally get it to go down. An elongated fight here, which would be perfect for an Azir at range, but Keane got dropped in the beginning, and they'll have none of that. Winterfox comes out big on a 33-minute engage.
That's what keeps happening. Winterfox just beating Gravity to the punch. There's such a big lead at this point. It's almost impossible for Gravity to win this fight. The one hope I feel like Keane would have had is to stay alive in one of these fights, and he just took his needlessly large rod, put it into a death cap, and he won't be able to Zhonya's when he gets dove.
Which has happened almost since minute 1.
Every single time.
Altec, run. Make sure your shoes are tied. He'll be able to get out of this one.
Well,
burn that air.
Maybe a Desperation Baron or something by Gravity. They need to get some type of catch before they'd start this thing.
Yeah.
But they could kill it rather quick.
Let me dive over this wall with no mana. Everybody's in like chaotic.
I mean, they're gonna go.
Rabid
ShorterAce is so fast. They know they're doing Baron. They can't do it. Oh, here's maybe a fight though.
There's
really messy.
Ah, nice knockup. Nothing coming of it. All right, that was a good dance. Nice moves by both teams there. Looks like everybody was getting a little rabid. Nobody had health or mana, and they were still trying to dive into these fights. It's getting crazy in this late game. The 10,000 gold, you're going to have to make crazy plays, especially if you're Gravity at this point to get back into the game.
Yep. And that was a Desperation Baron attempt. They really just hope Winterfox makes a bad dive decision, which is a possibility, but the laughing continues.
Too bad Saint didn't kick him there on that slice. That actually been pretty funny.
Into the Janna. Yeah. You're like, let's get. Oh, wait.
Ooh, Baron.
Yeah, it's an easy
Flaresz saying what? Raid boss Flaresz fighting top lane so Winterfox can get Baron. He's like, yeah, 3? You got 4? Are there 4 people? Flaresz pretty big right now. Actually, even with the Hydra first, getting right to his items necessary as Spirit Visage for the health gain and magic resistance and Branduins to keep the fight going. Moving up to the second inhibitor turret.
And it's really been Pobelter and Altec carrying the brunt. The ShorterAce did so much to help, as well as Gleeb, though. They're actually playing like a pretty coordinated team. Last-ditch effort by Gravity. They're pretty far from their face,
He didn't hit anybody with that! Great dodges coming out of Winterfox, and they just walk out clean after being able to get a few shots in the inhibitor turret. They are messing with fire right now, but they're getting out unscathed.
Yeah, they figure they may as well be at full health if they try some type of game-ending fight. Because they are 12,000 gold ahead. 3 dragons plus a Baron buff. Dragon 4 on the way in 45 seconds.
Pobelter 3,700 gold above his lane opponent right now.
Yikes.
Quite a chunk at 705.
I'll do you one better. Altec's 4,000 gold ahead of who was the larger winner. Yeah, and even though Altec has 0% lifesteal, he has that Elixir of Wrath, which gives him 10% healing on physical damage dealt, which is even better. It's so good on Sivir, you have no idea. It's healing him on Ricochet and on Boomerang Blade.
I'm going to say I'll give you that in gold, but he did have the Avarice Blade.
Yeah, he cheated. Big old cheater.
So it looks like they're going to use these minions for the bottom lane. Let's see if Flaresz uses that Baron. As we said before, you only need one guy with Baron buff to buff up these minions, and that's Flaresz for the top lane right now. Takes that inhibitor. They are going to get spread thin right now on the side of Gravity.
Yeah, this game's not going to last much longer with the Baron minions on one side and a giant Renekton on the other. Here they go.
There's one. Nope, they don't go for the inhibitor to push through. That's going to be Saintvicious, and Flaresz going head-to-head in the top lane. He hasn't even put a dent in him yet, and Saintvicious now to half HP. Helping that Hydra to keep him healed up just a little bit. He should be able to go down here, but that's now 2 of the resources for Gravity taken away, which means the bottom inhibitor, the bong goes off. An early activation, however, and they're able to just dip out with On the Hunt from Sivir.
That's all of them. 3 inhibitors down.
That is
methodical play from the triple sub squad here on Winterfox.
Very methodical. A method to a lot of the madness towards mid lane to shut down Keane. Pure control of dragons. This being number 4 now as we approach 38 minutes in the game. A Baron already in their favor that's currently being utilized. It's far and beyond been Winterfox's game here, and a very impressive first game of this play.
It really has been.
Subs as well. It's
got to be so painful for Gravity right now. A lot of analysts were wondering what will be of Gravity. Obviously, it's a long season. We can't take too much off of this first game. But when they did qualify during the expansion tournament, they had full access to Curse's support staff. All their analysts and coaching and support. They had to move, a ton of adjustments being done. It's going to be a difficult adjustment period as we're seeing in this first game. Let's see if this is the final push. They're going to wait for 3 waves of super minions and probably just go and win.
Yeah, you can see him hanging out in mid as well. They're stalling for those waves. Push up nice and easy on the outside. You can see how the base gates could semi be effective right now, but it's not even something Gravity can approach or leave. That's going to be the dive. On the Hunt goes off. It's going to be under the Nexus turrets here. Bunny FuFuu still with the Monsoon. He holds that for the last second. And there he is. He throws it off to give the team a little bit of heal. Hauntzer is fighting 4 people right now, amazingly, but I think it's going to be for naught. He will go down in the end, possibly. Gets himself to the fountain, actually, for a little bit of solace, and it's only been Bunny FuFuu that went down. Gravity's doing a great job at defending the fight, but not defending their Nexus turrets, because that's the objective. That's in the eyes of Winterfox. One final fight to bring them to their knees, and Gravity is now running for the fountain. Winterfox is on the Nexus. They're going to find their first win in the spring split here in North America 2015.
And what a way to start the season. Look out for Pobelter and Altec this year. 7-0-6 on Fizz, 9-2-10 on a very gold-hungry Sivir. 20,000 gold in an under 40-minute game.
That's crazy.
That's over 500 gold per minute right there. Flaresz, ShorterAce, Gleeb, all actually performing very well when kind of the pressure was off. So big smiles all around for Winterfox. Oh, well. Saintvicious with the stare onto Pobelter.
Definitely swept off their feet this game. Winterfox came in roaring. And ShorterAce in the jungle, we said, played well in the expansion tournament with an unfortunate loss to the team that did not allow him into the LCS. But that does not stop his skill or his potential for play.
Yeah, a lot of people talk down on those North American Rengars.
I was actually just going to mention that.
That was only the North American Rengars that were in the LCS last year.
2015 season will be approached the same way, though.
ShorterAce.
See that gig?
So many mid lane games.
Congratulations from Guitar there, knowing that he played well. And I think a big thing, again, is that they just did this with subs. What does the real team look like? Hopefully it's just as good.
Yeah, hopefully. He would hate to be like, well, actually, the best lineup we had, that guys
first
we
game
threw together in week 1. There'll be no getting back to this point.
Very nicely played in the mid lane as well by Pobelter. For being as aggressive as he is, he kind of didn't try to undertake anything by himself. It was a safe play, waited for ShorterAce. They did it when they knew they had the engagement and could get out safely. And that's what happened every time. Unfortunately for Gravity, there are 2 times where they tried to gank in the early game. People got away with maybe 50 HP. An unfortunate situation that if it went their way, it would have been a much different game.
There were definitely a few things in the early game for Winterfox that really just tipped in their favor.
Yeah.
Some incredibly close turret dives and very daring escapes afterwards. But once they got that little bit going, it's just a whitewash after that. They just completely took control of the game.
Definitely hard to find Winterfox in one place as well. We saw the Sion pick not really being able to hit ults. It's not what cost in the game, but something in the top lane maybe would have helped a little bit better for the team fights that were continuously long. And just that was going to be all in favor of Altec, the team kiting, the amount of control they had over the entire map. Great game by Winterfox. Definitely surprising.